These are the ways you can use your own urine for healing. There's drinking it, there's injecting a small amount rectally, injecting it into muscle tissue, there's nebulizing it and breathing it, and then there's rubbing it into your skin. And you can do it with fresh or with 2-week or more aged urine. All right. What do I need to know about those?
You can also bathe in it. You put it in a neti pot. You can put it in eye drops. You can put it in eardrops.
Neti pot of urine. That's aggressive. I haven't tried that. What does that do?
And I've done it before. So when I was a child, I had an operation on my nose. So I had all the veins burnt in my nose. And I had a bunch of scar tissue in my nose.
Chronic nosebleeds, huh?
Yes. Yeah. And all the wisdom is that they just burn the veins. Well, that doesn't really fix things, and it causes a lot of issues.
I had to do PTSD work on that. I had silver nitrate, which burns really bad, rubbed in my nose, and then they electrically cauterized my nose without anesthetic when I was under 10. That was not something I would like to repeat. And it was because I had chronic nosebleeds because they didn't understand toxic mold or mast cells. So you got scarring from that. I probably have a little scarring too.
Right. When I first started doing rapé with the indigenous practices, it burnt like really bad because of that scar tissue. And I'm like, I've got to heal this. I've got to work on this. So at the same time, I was also starting to get into this practice. And so I put a little bit of fresh in with water in my neti pot, some saline salt water, mixed the two together so it wasn't as strong, and put it through my nose. And I have it all healed now except for one little teeny piece. And I did that regularly for a couple of years.
Wow. And you think it healed your sinuses?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it was, there was always this irritation inside my sinuses. There's nothing wrong, but nothing right. There was that, where I just wanted to get up there and any little booger would cause irritation. Because of, they took really soft tissue and they burnt it, right?
Wow. It's amazing what doctors will do when they don't understand the why. They say, if you have this, do this, will stop that symptom. But maybe that's not the way to think about it.
Because it's very proactive rather than preactive. It's going to stop the bleeding, but why is it bleeding to begin with? What was going on? I had some bad digestive problems and they weren't looking at that. They weren't looking at what was going on in me as a child. They just we stopped the bleeding, we fixed it.
Chronic nosebleeds are almost always caused by sensitive mast cells in the nose, because when a mast cell gets set off by an allergen, it releases heparin, which is a blood thinner. So then I went through many years of 10 nosebleeds a day. I always had Kleenex and Afrin nasal spray because that'll stop them quickly. Just even go through high school. It's really not good for dating to have nosebleeds all the time.
Right. I had nosebleeds. Every time I had a nosebleed, I had to go to the hospital so they could stop it. I couldn't get it to stop without going to the hospital.
Wow. So you had a really big reaction. It's funny how people have, different health problems, just figure out here's what actually works, because you deal with it every single day. And I would have snorted my urine to stop nosebleeds. And fortunately, I very rarely get them now because I've got my immune system mostly under control, but every now and then it still misbehaves. We haven't talked much about nebulizing. And so how much urine am I using? Evolved urine or fresh urine? And how much of it do I breathe?
Well, and this is the thing. Nebulizing is kind of new on the market. So I'm talking with an international community of, Shivambu users. And, so I'm just going by what they're saying and how they're doing it, because it hasn't been studied, the effects of nebulizing yet. But, the fine little particles going into the lungs, it can help a lot. So if it can help your liver, why wouldn't it be able to help your lungs? It makes sense to me.
That's something I would be willing to try. So I'll probably find my nebulizer. I have it in a closet somewhere. And man, I'm going to have to start peeing a lot. But I'm totally willing to try this stuff and report my results because it's unlikely to do anything.
I do know nebulizing it goes into the blood cell stream really fast. So like with everything else, go easy when you first do it. I was on this conference call and this guy was nebulizing. And I'm like, how are you doing that? But he was the kind of person that had done all the detox, done all the fast, done all the, you would be really dizzy from just taking in that much oxygen and that much, but he was just going. So somebody that's regularly done it and he's just going to town on this nebulizer. And I was like, holy, you've really cleaned. I could tell how cleaned up his body was by how long he was able to use that nebulizer.